The stadium was packed with screaming fans, bright lights flashing like lightning across the ring. Fighters from different countries had come to prove who was the strongest. Among them was a famous Brazilian MMA star named Rafael the Beast Silva. He was known for his power, his loud mouth, and his pride. Reporters followed him everywhere, and he walked like a king who believed no one could stop him. In the same building, quietly preparing, was a Filipino fighter named Mateo Reyes. He was not loud, not famous, and not arrogant. He came from a small town where discipline was stronger than words. He trained with pain, sacrifice, and hunger in his heart. While Rafael enjoyed attention, Matteo focused only on the fight. He knew respect was earned in battle, not spoken in interviews. Backstage was filled with tension, sweat, and silence. Fighters warmed up in corners, coaches whispered strategies, and security watched carefully. Rafael walked through the hallway like he owned it, laughing with his team. Then his eyes landed on Matteo, sitting calmly, wrapping his hands with steady focus. Rafael smirked and stepped closer. "So, this is the Filipino fighter," he said loudly. "You look too small. You belong in a street market, not in a cage with warriors." His team laughed. Matteo's head slowly lifted, his eyes calm but sharp. The insult was like fire, but Matteo did not explode. He only said quietly, "Words are easy. The cage will speak." Rafael's laughter grew louder. "The cage will speak? No, little man, it will scream for you." He leaned closer, disrespect dripping from his voice. "Filipino fighters are tough, yes, but you are nothing." The hallway felt colder. Even other fighters stopped stretching, sensing danger. Matteo stood up slowly. He was not angry like a wild animal, but like a soldier preparing for war. His coach grabbed his arm, warning him not to lose control. Matteo nodded. He would not fight backstage, but deep inside, something was awakened. This was no longer just a match. This was pride, respect, and honor on the line. News of the insult spread fast. Fighters whispered, staff talked, and even journalists caught wind of the heated tension. Fans online began choosing sides. Some supported Rafael's arrogance, calling him unstoppable. Others defended Matteo, saying Filipino warriors were never to be underestimated. Matteo sat quietly again, closing his eyes. In his mind, he remembered his father's words. "A true warrior does not bark. He strikes when it matters." Rafael, meanwhile, strutted around like a conqueror. He believed he had already won. But war stories always begin with arrogance and end with surprise. The announcer's voice thundered through the arena. "Tonight, we witness an international battle." Rafael entered first, roaring and pounding his chest. The crowd cheered loudly. Cameras flashed. He raised his fists like a champion who could not fall. Then Matteo walked out. No shouting, no arrogance, only calm footsteps and eyes filled with quiet fire. The Filipino flag waved behind him, and his people watched with hope. He looked like a humble warrior walking into battle, not for fame, but for respect. The cage door closed, and suddenly the world became small. The bell rang, sharp like a gunshot. Rafael rushed forward immediately, throwing heavy punches like a storm. The crowd screamed as Matteo dodged quickly, moving like water. Rafael laughed mid-fight, taunting him, "Run, little man." But Matteo was not running. He was measuring. He was learning. Rafael swung again, powerful but reckless. Matteo's eyes stayed focused, his body calm. The Brazilian fought like a raging bull. The Filipino fought like a soldier with patience. Rafael landed a strong kick that shook Matteo's ribs. The crowd gasped. Rafael smiled wide, believing the fight was ending early. He shouted, "This is what happens when you face a real warrior." Matteo stumbled back, breathing hard. But then He smiled slightly, not from arrogance, but from understanding. He had felt Rafael's strength. Now he knew the pattern. Matteo stepped forward again, his movements sharper, faster. The war was only beginning. Matteo suddenly exploded with speed. His fists came like rapid drums, striking Rafael's guard again and again. Rafael's smile faded. He backed up for the first time, surprised by the sudden aggression. The crowd roared louder. Matteo's calm was gone, replaced by controlled fury. Rafael swung wildly, but Matteo slipped through like smoke. Then Matteo landed a clean elbow that cut Rafael's eyebrow. Blood appeared. The Brazilian's pride cracked. The insult backstage now felt like poison in his throat. Rafael wiped blood from his face, staring at his hand in disbelief. The crowd was no longer cheering only for him. They were watching something shocking unfold. Matteo was not weak. Matteo was dangerous. Rafael charged again, desperate to regain control. He grabbed Matteo, trying to slam him down. The cage shook. It became a battlefield, bodies colliding like armies. Matteo fought back, resisting with the strength of someone who carried generations of warriors behind him. Rafael whispered angrily, "You should have stayed small." Matteo answered through heavy breaths, "You should have stayed respectful." Then Matteo twisted, escaping the hold, and delivered a brutal combination that sent Rafael stumbling. The Brazilian star looked confused, like a king watching his throne burn. His power was real, but his ego blinded him. Matteo, fueled by discipline and honor, fought with purpose. Every strike felt like a message: never insult what you don't understand. The final round began. Rafael was tired, bleeding and angry. Matteo was bruised but steady. The crowd was standing now. This was no longer entertainment. This was war. Rafael threw one desperate punch. Matteo ducked and countered with a perfect strike. Rafael fell to his knees. The arena went silent for a half-second, as if the world stopped breathing. Then Matteo locked in a submission hold, tight like a chain. Rafael struggled, his face twisted in panic. The Filipino fighter held firm, calm like a warrior finishing a battle. The Brazilian star had no escape. His pride fought harder than his body, but pride cannot break steel discipline. Then it happened. Rafael tapped the mat. The referee pulled Matteo away. The crowd erupted like thunder. The famous Brazilian who insulted Matteo backstage had been defeated. Cameras captured Rafael's stunned expression. The world watched the shock unfold live. Matteo stood in the center of the cage, breathing heavily. He did not celebrate wildly. He only raised his hand with humility. The crowd chanted his name. Reporters screamed questions. Matteo simply said, "Respect is stronger than insults." Backstage later, Rafael approached Matteo slowly, no longer loud, no longer proud. His voice was quiet. "I was wrong," he admitted. Matteo nodded. "War teaches lessons. Tonight, we both learned." And in that moment, the insult that started a conflict ended in something rare: respect forged through battle.